like to call the November 7th meeting of the Police and Fire Commission to order. We'll start with the roll call. Commissioner Wanzek. Here. Commissioner Shaw.
Here.
Commissioner Boyle-Rolla.
Here.
Commissioner Kopke. Present. And Commissioner Voltan. So all commissioners are present and accounted for. I'll ask for an approval of the agenda with one change. We're missing the set the date of the next meeting, so we'll put that in between F and G. So with that change, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wanzek.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Shaw. All those in favor?
Aye.
Approved? Opposed? That's approved. Okay.
1 sec.
Okay.
Okay.
The approval of the minutes, you received the minutes of the last meeting in your packet. Any changes or questions on that? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wanzek. Second.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Shaw. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, those are approved. Information reports. I'm going to move mine down, so we'll start with the chiefs. So, Chief Litton, we'll start with you.
Just a couple of very quick things. We will be holding 3 positions open at the end of the year due to budget constraints, so there will be no need for interviews this fall, as we won't be hiring anybody. I did get the results from Fox Valley Technical College, and we'll hold those in case anything were to change, but I'm certainly not holding my breath, so I think that's going to be the status quo going forward next year.
We don't have any retirees?
There were 2 retirees and one, Caroline Solomon, that resigned due to some family issues. So we have 3 open positions.
So
So we will-
those won't be filled.
We've got one captain that's retiring at December 21st, I think it is, so we have 3 open positions, so they'll be held open. So,
Okay.
not changing table of organization, just holding them open. The only thing I have to report is we will need to run a Tynes test. We're hoping to do it in March. I wanted to see if March 4th and 5th or 11th and 12th. If we have any, we typically have 2 commissioners sitting in on those, on that assessment center. So we wanted to see if those dates will work.
Either works for me. I'm not going anywhere.
We will have 2 battalion vacancies at
Okay.
I think it's Bob Wiegert and Steve Sellon are both retiring within a week or so of each other next year. I've already given me their letters. So we want to run the test in March so that I have an established list so we can start looking at people in advance
Okay.
of them leaving, kind of get some shadowing done and things of that nature. So if there's either week, we prefer either one of those 2 weeks, it doesn't matter to us.
Doesn't make any difference to me.
But we'll pick the March 4th and 5th. And I'll get it on calendars, and we're gonna get a notice out to the floor here pretty shortly and find out how many candidates we'll have. And possibility we'll have to add a 3rd day depending on the number of candidates, but last year we had 6, and the last time we ran, we had 6, we were able to do it in 2 days. It's probably somewhere in the area where we'll have it.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Thanks, Kevin.
On behalf of Chief Smith's unavailable today, so apologize if you're expecting to see him. Crime.
You're disappointed.
It's an upgrade.
Duly noted.
Suck up.
Crime-wise, we're doing good. The statistics that you get emailed from Chief every Monday, we're 5% down, so we're doing great. Our biggest crime patterns we're seeing is thefts and burglaries. There's been some businesses that have been hit recently. We're doing our best to try to track the people who we believe are responsible for that. Theft is always our biggest problem. Of interest, we just get a huge influx of license plate thefts. Why people are stealing license plates is beyond me, probably to commit other crimes and put them on their car and commit those crimes. But we're still tracking those thefts as much as we can. Internally, currently there's a current sergeant selection process that is going on, a captain's promotional process, which we'll talk about later, and then we're trying to fill a spot in community police. Right now we're at 178 officers, and Jody's going to talk about that, but we'll be hiring some more people in November. Budget-wise, it was more positive than negative for us, so we're going to get up to 185 by July 1st. So there are some retirements here at the end of the year, but our goal is to get to 185 by July 1st. So we'll do everything and anything to get up to that point.
Very good. Any questions for the chief? All
When you
right.
see license plates, do they steal the whole plate, or, I know in Milwaukee, they actually steal, they take a, yeah, the sticker, they take a
Yeah,
tin
they kind of
snip.
stick, yeah. No, we're seeing the whole license plates. Yeah, it's odd. I mean, they're, usually that happens and they pop up in gas drive-offs and stuff like that. But there's just, when we meet every Monday to talk about what's crime is occurring in the week at a glance, it just seems that license plates. And you actually have to unscrew the license plates. I mean, it's not like they fall off. So it's odd.
Well, I have a couple of observations, one for each department, both very, very positive. This Sunday, you may have seen in the news, there was a presentation at the library where 4 families of deceased firefighters, actually deceased for decades, were presented with flags, and their deaths were reclassified as line of duty deaths because they died of cancer that was judged to be related to their employment. And Dave Sullen, the fire department is, Sigel, I'm sorry. He does a great job with the history. He's a great historian. I said to him, he's like the college professor you had that you learned a lot from, but you always liked to sit down and talk to him because they had the backstory. And then I also want to credit Chief Litton because that idea or that subject is cancer deaths of officers is a personal mission of his. And I know he's worked very hard to get equipment at each of the stations to be able to have the clothing properly cleaned in between times, and also procedurally change some procedures, all in the with the idea of protecting his firefighters. And so, Chief, I compliment you on that, and it was a great ceremony, and thank you for doing that.
Honor Guard, and they did a really nice job with that ceremony for sure. And we've had fiscal support from the city along the way, changing all the things that we've had to change with. And it was not a cheap endeavor. We probably got between the gear washers and dryers, 2 sets of gear for everybody. It's probably approaching a $600,000 effort right there over the last 6 years. So, just procedural things with other smaller items and things that we have to do. But it's an ongoing issue. We just found out this within the last 2 weeks. We have two more members diagnosed. So their prognosis is fine as at this point. But it's one of those things where there's more firefighters that die from cancer after they retire than die from anything else. And I think the statistics are like 2/3 of active firefighters are going to have cancer in their lifetime. So I've watched too many bad things in my career, and that's why I'm so adamant about changing it for the younger generation.
Good, thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Is it from the chemicals they use, or the asbestos in the
It's all
buildings, all of the
it's
above?
all the products of combustion are the there's carcinogens and everything, and anything that burns, and just exposure. When your body temperature when it rises when you're wearing all the gear and your air pack and so forth, and you're sweating, your 400% absorption rate in your body's 400% higher. Your pores open up. It's easy for carcinogens to get in your system, and repetitively over time, over years and years and years of service. That's what we're finding, but we're doing different things now, and we're requiring a whole host of things, from cleanup immediately on the scene to bagging gear to washing it, under 5G force, to wipes that they use on the scene, disposable wipes, to making sure they have showers and making sure that they have fresh gear, fresh uniforms put on every single day, to not allow their gear to the stations, to annual physicals and NOMA checks and screens. And so there's 15 or 16 different things that we've done that make a difference.
Good.
And then relative to the police department, Vice President Schaaf and I had a chance to be part of the interview panels for the captains and the sergeants that they just went through. And I was very impressed by both the number of people that signed up for that, or applied for that. It shows that people want to be leaders, and they want to grow, and they want to change. want to take on a larger leadership role, and secondly, the quality of the candidates too. Very strong candidates in there, so it left me feeling like the future of the police department is very strong for many, many years out into the future. And it was really fresh to see. Nancy, if you have anything
I
to
concur.
Thank you.
It was tough to evaluate.
Yeah, so a lot of good things coming up in both of those. All right, well, Chief Litton, I think we're
All right.
pretty well done with all the fire stuff, so.
Good evening, everybody. Have a good night.
Unless you want to help hire a police officer.
No, I'm good.
All right.
I've got enough of my own problems.
Chief, one question.
Yes.
The community foundation, do they have a foundation for the fire department?
We do not.
Okay.
We actually looked at that at one point when we had a potential donor, but we never have established one. We just don't receive, one big grant that we did, or community gift, I guess, went towards the ballistic gear and helmets, and then the particulate hoods, cancer prevention. That was one donor, one time, and it came to the community foundation.
Okay.
But we've never established one for a fire department. You have to have money to do that.
Hmm?
You have to have funds to do
Yeah,
that.
I don't have enough, so I'm not. Just to clarify.
Yeah, fair enough. Have a good day.
We should,
All right.
Chief, we
Bye.
should talk about that person, she might underwrite that, the cost of putting it together.
Okay.
Our friend?
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
The one with 50,000 cash?
No, no, this one travels with a check.
Okay, thanks again. Have a good day.
Good night.
Does she want an option?
All right, regular business, consideration with possible action on the request to approve the police captain promotional list. And, so, Jen has the list. I don't know, did you have
Everyone should
copies
have
of
a
that for
copy.
everyone? I
Yes.
guess I gave you back mine
Yes.
after we signed it, so I don't need another one emailed to me since I
Okay.
have this. I thought that was the only copy.
Sure.
So this listing represents an alphabetical order of the people that went through the interview process and qualified through that process.
So we, as Commissioner Volkan said, we conducted oral board interviews, and then we also did a personnel file review. So the interview was weighted at 60%, and personnel file review was weighted at 40%, and all of the candidates needed to have met a minimum of 70% on both of those in order to be placed on the list.
And so, and then our next agenda item, we'll talk about actually promoting some of these from the open slots that are available. So if there are no other questions, I will entertain a motion to approve this promotion list.
Just one clarification, okay, now we have an alphabetical list if it's approved, assuming it is, then what happens?
These folks are now, they're approved by us of being considered for captains. Now as captain openings come up, they will be offered these based upon how they fared in that interview process.
So there's a
they'll be
score,
rank
but it's
ordered.
not
Yeah,
disclosed.
yeah, there's
We're
a-
not-
yeah, this is the alphabetical order, there's a rank order, but we don't,
We don't get that?
And is there a discretionary element in that with, who makes the selection, the chief or from that list, or is it automatic based on that
Simply
score
just
that's?
based on the ranking.
Okay.
Is there an opening right now?
Two.
Two, that's right. Do we know who's going to be assigned?
that's what we're gonna
That's what we'll
talk.
discuss
Oh, next
next.
agenda item.
Okay, sorry.
Never mind.
Forget that.
All right, so any other question? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the captain promotional list.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Boyle-Woloff, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Shaw. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? All right, that list has been approved. The next item is consideration with possible action on a request to approve the promotions to the rank of police captain. The commission may convene in closed session pursuant to sections 19.5, paragraph 1, sub C and F, Wisconsin statutes, to consider employment, promotion, compensation, and performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility. The commission may thereafter reconvene in open session pursuant to section 19.5, paragraph 2, Wisconsin statutes, to report the results of the closed session and consider the balance of the agenda. Is there a motion to go into closed session? Moved by Commissioner Kopke, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Roloff, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're in closed session.
I asked the
Don't
question
ask
too
them.
early.
All right, we are back in open session. While in closed session, we reviewed a recommendation by the department to promote two of the individuals on this list, the captain, and if the next available openings, which should be coming up in the next month or so. However, because out of courtesy to all the candidates, since none of them have been contacted yet, we're not going to announce the names of those two until all that's been done. But just for the record, we have authorized the promotion of two of the candidates from that list. All right, consideration with possible action on the following communications.
Do we need a motion? I'm sorry. A motion to approve? We need a motion to go into open session.
We had a motion to approve the list. and we approved
Oh, you
the
did,
candidate.
yeah.
We approved the list. didn't
We approved it in,
I think we just had a motion to go into open session.
correct, correct. All right, is there a motion to approve our decision on the two candidates that we discussed in the closed session?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Shaw,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Roloff. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The unanimous consent for the promotions of those two individuals. All right, number 3. Thank you, Jen.
Mhm.
Budget status report, no change, although in the budget spreadsheet, again, there was no change for this month. The budget spreadsheet shows just under $500 charge for a psych evaluation. So everything's pretty straightforward. If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion to receive those and place them on file.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Roloff, seconded by Commissioner Shaw. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Place those on file. And then consideration with possible action on a request to approve the monthly bills. That was the single psych evaluation bill for our new candidates. If there's not any discussion, I'll entertain a motion to authorize payment.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Roloff. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Kupke. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We'll pay the bills. Number 5, consideration with possible action on the review of patrol officer candidate backgrounds. Excuse me, I should back up. We have 2 closed session agenda items. We'll go in, we'll do one closed session vote. While in closed session, we will cover both of those items. When we come back into open session, I'll report on the 2 of those separately. So, consideration with possible action on the review of patrol officer candidate backgrounds. The commission may convene an open session pursuant to sections 19.5, paragraph 1, sub C and F, Wisconsin statutes to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility. The commission may thereafter reconvene an open session pursuant to section 19.5, paragraph 2, Wisconsin statutes, to report the results of the closed session and consider the balance of the agenda. And then item 6, interviews with patrol officer candidates. Please take note that pursuant to section 19.85, paragraph 1, sub C and F Wisconsin statutes, the commission may convene a closed session for the purpose of interviewing, evaluating, and considering employment of patrol officer candidates. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wozniak. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Roloff. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are back in closed session. All right, we are back in open session. While we were in closed session, we voluntary removal for either they took another job or had some other issues in the process, so they voluntarily requested not to be continued in the process. And we reviewed the background of one candidate, chose to continue that person in the process, and interviewed that candidate, and after the interview, continued to choose to keep that candidate in the hiring process. So given that, is there a motion to continue that candidate in the process and to accept the voluntary removal of the other 2 candidates? So moved. Moved by Commissioner Kupke.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Shaw. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right. There are no public hearings scheduled today. Setting the date of the next meeting, our regular date would have been December 5th, but we have 2 of the commissioners that doesn't work for, so take a look at some other options.
How about the second Monday, is that too early?
Monday?
Yeah, Monday, December 2nd?
That's fine.
That would work for me, would that work for you guys?
Yeah.
Do you think we'll have any more interviews?
Not till the
Oh,
next
okay.
list is started
Okay.
up.
So 3 do we meet? 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock?
Wouldn't work on Wednesday the 4th, huh?
Well,
I'll be gone.
that works for
Oh.
me.
But,
Forget that.
sorry.
Okay. So.
Monday, December 2nd?
Yep.
3 o'clock.
23 days before Christmas. Yeah.
Get your shopping done early, because the whole week before Christmas, it's gonna snow.
That's true. Enjoy if you let the chief know, and then I'll let Chief let me know.
Otherwise, I can send Chief an email.
Okay.
Do you want me to do that?
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
I'll just send an email to both chiefs.
Okay. And, include one of them too, if you want.
Oh, sure.
All right. That's the last of the agenda item. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wolof. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Copley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much.